Hello everyone and welcome back. If you've followed me for a bit, you've probably heard me say that I'm not the biggest gearhead in the world. I don't spend much time dreaming about guitars, but when I do, there is one specific six string that I've had a soft spot for years. That guitar is the 90s reissue that Gibson released of the ES-295. Even if you don't recognize it, there's a decent chance that you've heard it. Scotty Moore played an ES-295 on a number of Elvis's first Sun recordings. It's safe to say that this guitar is a rockabilly icon. The origins of the 295, like many things Gibson, can be traced back to Les Paul. Les was logging some Good Samaritan hours playing guitar at a war veterans hospital in Milwaukee. He connected with a specific veteran who used to be a guitar player until he'd lost the use of his right arm. Les showed this fellow that you could still make some cool sounds by hammering onto the frets with just one hand. And being the absolute beauty that Les Paul was, he offered to get the veteran any guitar he wanted. The guy said he wanted a gold archtop, which till then didn't exist. So Les Paul got Gibson to finish an ES-175 in this unique color. The first inspiration for the 295 was born. Years later, Gibson would dust off this idea and manufacture a big old hollow guitar with a 175 style body. However, there are some fairly drastic differences between the ES-295 and the ES-175 besides the funky finish. The pickguard has a floral design, the pickups are two P90s, it's all maple, and the bridge and tailpiece were rigged up in a unique way. One day in 1953, the guitarist Scotty Moore saw this instrument in the window of a shop in Memphis, fell in love, and the rest is history. So I guess the next question is, why is this guitar the subject of many of my fantasies? I don't really have one specific answer to that, it's a combination of a number of things. And while I have the utmost respect for Scotty Moore, he was never one of those players to directly influence me. I think the first time I ever saw a picture of this guitar was on the back of the Johnny A album, Sometime Tuesday Morning. Johnny is one of those lesser known guitar players whose music really resonated with me. Personally, I'm not the biggest fan of instrumental guitar music. However, I can listen to Johnny A all day long. He stirs up my favorite styles of music, jazz, country, blues, rock, into one delicious stew. His playing is lyrical and always serves the song pure taste. Another thing that drew me to this guitar is I have an affinity to weird guitars with character. Take for example my reverse flying V. The ES-295 is a serious eye catcher. I also love the sound of a big hollow body. In fact, I kind of owned a 295 at one point. In 2004, somebody brought the Epiphone version into the music store I worked at as a trade-in. As soon as I saw it, I set it aside and bought it later that day. It didn't quite do it for me though. I feel like there's a significant quality difference between the Epiphone and Gibson model. I eventually ended up selling it on eBay for a tidy little profit. There was one time I encountered a Gibson ES-295 out in the wild. At the same music store, a lady once brought in this guitar which belonged to her dad for a rough appraisal. It was a real vintage one from the 50s, it was beat to hell, and man was it beautiful. Of course, she wanted to sell it for significantly more than I could have afforded at the time. She closed the case, and that was the last time I've seen one. I've scoured every music store I've ever been to ever since. I dream about owning the reissue over the guitar from the 50s for a couple reasons. I'm not a collector, I don't want to own a guitar for the sake of owning one. I want to play it. My theory is that a reissue from the 90s will have many more miles left on it than a guitar that's already 65 years old. The 90s model also has a Bigsby trem system. To say the least, I have a soft spot in my heart for those. Not to mention the reissues are significantly more affordable. You see them pop up online now and then, but for me, I need to play it before I'd buy it. Gibson also reissued the guitar in 2015, but alas, no Bigsby on it. So to this day, my dream guitar has eluded me, and distance has only made the heart grow fonder. If one day you see me playing that baby in a video, you'll know how excited I am. To wrap this up, why don't you let me know in the comments if you have a specific guitar or piece of gear that you dream of. And I want to remind you, if that guitar is a Red American Telly, I'm running a contest until June 30th, 2017 where I'm giving one away. All the info you need to know about that can be found by clicking that link over there. A big shout out to everyone who supports my channel through Patreon, and a thank you to everyone else as well for watching my videos. I'm Samurai Guitarist, and I will see you again soon.